Hello, everyone. You are welcome to today's live stream. This is the Study Abroad Experience podcast, and I will be your host, Danny Legend. Here, what I do is that I collate the experiences of people that have traveled abroad on low budget and let others know that they too can travel abroad on low budget. So, my main message is you can avoid loans. You can always travel abroad on low budgets. And I have a lot of people who can show that what I'm saying is true. It's not just a personal experience where you say, oh, Danny is the only one that went, so he thinks that everybody can go. No, there are a lot of people that can also do it and have done it. And I have someone here today who is going to speak to us. She's going to share her journey on how she managed to study abroad on full scholarship. Now, if you are thinking, oh, can I get undergrad scholarships? Can I get it is possible. So every myth that you have is going to be debunked during this episode. I'll be speaking with StarStel. So I'm going to bring her on stage and she's going to introduce herself, tell us her backstory and all that. It's been a while since I got one-on-one with her. After she got her visa, I didn't hear from her again. So StarStel, you're welcome. After you got your visa, away. Yeah, no more
Danny,
yes. Don't look for me again. So
uh,
yeah, it's very fine.
PhD is PhD.
It's it's not easy. It's not been easy. Oh, Charlie. So
But
how has it been? How is like classes? Is it
um,
like is it free to can you have fun? People are confused. I don't do
okay,
PhD because me, I won't have fun.
okay. It depends on the program you're offering or you want to pursue. I am in a
Right.
school psych program. So school psych, it comes with lots of practical aspects to it. You have to do
Okay.
clinic. So we have a school clinic where we see clients for practice, but these are real clients under supervision, under cameras. You have your lecturers watching. We also work with schools alongside. So I
Oh,
have
so
a
you guys
private
do the
school.
proctor exams? It's like a
No,
proctored exam or not that?
no, not that. They don't call it that, but we see clients at the clinic. We work in private
Mm.
schools or public schools in the country under supervision. So,
Right.
and this is in addition to all your classes that you're taking. So this semester
Oh,
I'm
okay.
taking like three classes, real classes. Then I have supervision sessions. And you're doing
Oh,
this
okay.
alongside working in the clinic, working in the school, and also being a teaching assistant. So I teach two classes in school. So it's a lot.
Wow.
You
Wow.
don't have you
So
don't have a dream.
research. Wow. Hey, research and then teaching
Yes, research and
plus
teaching.
family life because you're a mom, right?
Exactly.
How
Yes.
many kids?
Oh, I have three kids.
3 kids, teaching assistant, research. Please. So
Yeah.
you see that it's such a privilege to get her to come to this show. Please don't take it lightly. Oh. For someone to be that busy and have time to be here, Charlie. You don't
Oh,
sit
come
in the
on.
comfort of your bed and say, "Oh, forget them." Please come and listen
Yeah.
inside. Wow. So tell us where you've come from, high school. Where did you study?
Okay.
Which country are you from? We want to know. There are international viewers all around and we want to know where you're
Yeah.
from.
All right. So my name is Stella Jifa Monu Awudi. That's my full name. But
All
I
right.
use StarStel a lot. I believe I can excel. I love stars.
Mm.
So StarStel
Oh,
is my social media platform. But for
oh, okay.
professional purposes in school, I go by Jifa. So I
Oh,
signed Jifa. Yeah.
I
So
mean,
social
me, I
media.
thought that, me, I thought the Stella is like Stella. Oh,
Yes, Stella. That's my
oh,
first
okay,
name.
okay, uh-huh,
My
uh-huh.
first name is
Yeah.
Stella. My middle name is Jifa.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
okay.
And
Oh, okay,
because
okay.
I want to project my Ghanaian heritage. I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
to
yeah,
use
yeah.
Jifa.
Show them,
Yes.
give them. I like that.
Yeah. So
Yes,
I'm from
nice content.
Ghana.
Eyes on Danny, I see you. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. All right. So where did you school, high
All
school,
right.
growing and
So
coming up? Can we get a background?
yeah. So humble beginnings. My father never traveled. My parents never traveled. I was born in Accra, Newtown. I schooled in
Oh,
Nima.
okay.
So I'm a
Oh,
Nima
okay. I
girl.
passed there several times. Yeah.
Yeah. So my mom's shop was in Nima. And then we moved later to Spintex and I got admission to St. Mary Secondary School. So that's where I attended and did a science program. And I wanted to do medicine because everybody told me you would do great with medicine because I love reading, I love science.
Yeah.
So I did science in St. Mary's and it
But
went very well. Uh-huh.
with the medicine thing, didn't like your parents push you because parents like be a doctor, be a lawyer, like everybody. Was it just parents or like was just friends pushing you to go into the
They
medicine?
didn't really push me, but they keep saying this that, oh, if you're doing well in school, you're getting A's, then obviously medicine should be the pathway for. And coming from where we are coming from, it's either
Yeah.
medicine or engineering or courses like that because we
Or
think
law.
those are the
Yeah.
only or law exactly.
Yeah.
But
The ish.
so that's what I did in St. Mary's, and then I went to Legon, University of Ghana,
Oh, okay.
Legon. I did biological science, I did physics, chemistry, biology, all that. I never started with the thought that I would do psychology. I
Right.
always say that I found psychology by chance um,
Hmm.
because organic chemistry didn't treat me well. I failed for all.
Me too. I didn't like chemistry. Oh.
I didn't do well in organic chemistry, and I had to retake organic chemistry. I had F in organic chemistry and retake
Ooh.
it again to get an A. And I said,
Wow. Oh, okay,
nope.
okay.
I'm not doing this again. And it's like I'm in my second year, going to my third year, and I couldn't get into medical school. What do I
Mm,
do next?
wow.
So the options
Wow.
were you could do lab technician, you could do physics, you could do chemistry, you could do biochem, those other options.
Right.
But I wanted to graduate with very good GPA, and I
Mm,
also wanted to finish easy. So that was my
right.
thought. So a
Right.
friend told me, a senior colleague who also came in with biological science, said, oh,
Hmm.
she found that she could do psychology as a major through biological
Right.
science. And I said, okay.
Right.
I had already
Hmm.
taken some electives in psychology. So I said, okay,
Hmm.
let me try psychology. And
Yeah.
the interesting thing I always say is that I take psychology courses. I don't have to study as much as I studied physics and chemistry, and I was getting my
Hmm.
A's. I said, okay, so if this
Wow.
is this easy for me to do, why am I even stressing? It's
Of
not the
course, and everybody
stressing.
likes easy courses. We like the easy ones.
Yes,
Yeah.
I thought psychology would be so easy. But so I pursued psychology. I took more electives in psychology. I did a project work in psychology and I thought, wow, I love this. I'm actually enjoying this. I love talking to people. I love helping
Mm.
people out. So why not pursue this as a field? Because
That's good.
psychology
Yeah.
can still lead me to science. I could still work in the hospital
Right.
setting and still help people. So
Yeah.
why not?
Multiple. Yeah.
Exactly. So
Okay.
that's how come I ended up doing BSc psychology and finished
Mhm.
University of Ghana. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So psychology is not really popular in Ghana. I know it's really
Hmm.
popular in the US. People, what
Yeah.
is it about? Are you? What is the misconception? Psychology, like, is it people who are psychos? Like, what are you? What are you
So
studying? We want to
psychology
understand.
is just a study of the mind, but there are several aspects to psychology. So one aspect I would say I didn't even know about until I came to the US was school psychology. Okay, so
Mm,
back in Ghana, we have clinical psychology. So when I finished my first degree, I did my national service in a hospital in Northern Region. So
right.
I got the opportunity to be in a hospital setting, and I said, okay, I love what they do here. And I was counseling. I had the opportunity to counsel some mothers who were pregnant
Mm,
women. So I said, okay, I
right.
love what I do with these people, so I'd like to pursue it. So there's clinical psychology, there's social
Mhm.
psychology, there's industrial and organizational psychology, there's
Wow.
school psychology. But Ghana, we don't have programs in school psychology. We have
We don't have it.
educational psychology. So I never knew about school psychology, but it's a big field in the US. It's like it's been
Wow.
here for
Yes.
years. So I was wondering, like, I didn't even know there was any connection because Ghana, we don't have school psychologists in our schools.
Yeah.
Here, it's by law, every school needs to have a
You
school
have to.
psychologist.
Yeah.
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 So
And one thing I realize is that here they really like they dedicate that mentorship to students, that
yeah,
counseling aspect to
yeah,
students. So even before you enter a career, like you are well equipped with the resources. But
yeah.
for my where I'm coming from, name withheld. We don't we don't, we don't even give you that like workshop to go
Mhm.
through how to meticulously like navigate
Prepare.
through the school system. It's
Yeah.
serious. It's a canker. I've realized that students here are not confused. If you pick 100 students, you might have maybe like 10 or 15 who are still confused after going through these sessions.
Yeah, but not
But
all of
in
them have
Ghana, there are a
access
lot of
actually.
wow. Even here,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
wow,
There's
wow,
a high shortage of school psychs in their schools. So it's an
wow.
area that people should actually look into. School psychology is a very great field. There is no way you finish your master's. I'm doing a PhD, but even for
Hmm.
those who do their masters, there are
Yeah,
jobs waiting for you when you graduate.
good for them.
Schools
Wow,
are looking for you to employ you. So
wow.
it's an area that people have to look into. So psychology is very broad. Um,
Hmm.
depending on which area you are interested in. But I was interested in clinical psychology,
Right.
disorders, mental disorders. So you're talking about depression, anxieties, eating disorders, conduct
Hmm.
disorders. We call kids who
Right.
don't listen, who don't pay attention. So I wanted to work with children and support
Hmm.
them within schools. So that's how come I
Oh,
ended up
okay.
in. But I started
Wow.
with clinical psychology.
Wow. So even with all these many things, they are still specialized for just students or in
Yes.
the school setting.
Yes, in the school
Wow.
settings. Yeah.
So you'd say that given the demand or the supply rather of
Mhm.
people, the available specialists, you would say that there's still a gap
Oh,
that needs to
yes.
be filled. So
Yes.
if international students are coming in and they apply, they can come and fill some of these gaps. Is
Yes.
that the reality on the ground?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Wow.
Because
Wow.
most countries, just like Ghana, don't really train school psychologists. We don't have those programs. So it's a very good program you can actually advocate for and say that when you go for an interview, we don't have this in Ghana. I don't know if today there's a school psychology program in Ghana, but I didn't know of one back when I was there. So if you're going for an interview, we don't have this program here, but it's here in the US. So I want to go there and go and do this program, and it will help your interview a lot.
Wow, wow, wow. Mr. O says that they are all leaving the schools for better salary. Oh, interesting. Wow. And he's saying that last year they had three psychologists who left for private
Yeah,
practice. This is interesting. Wow, wow,
yeah,
wow. We'll come to the job aspect. Anyway,
yeah.
so we want to know, like, how did you come across this scholarship? How did you
Okay.
find where they was a struggle? Did you have to apply to a lot of schools and all that?
Mm-mm.
How'd you
For me,
find it?
that wasn't the case. I always say that my background experience spoke for me and went ahead of me. So I always advocate that apply for programs that you have background in, you have experience in.
Right.
Don't go for programs that you can't speak to. So I did clinical psychology in Ghana. Yesterday is actually 11 years I graduated with my master's in clinical
Wow.
psychology. Yes.
Wow.
So from Legon. And then worked in Ghana. I didn't have a job for like 3 years. So I was doing things here and there just to survive. Just I had a master's in clinical psychology. I didn't have a job for 3 good years to 4 years.
And the,
But I
the
was
masters was in Ghana?
yes, my first master's was in
Oh,
Ghana.
okay.
Yeah. So with that, I thought I would work for a while and then pursue my PhD abroad. I've always said that I wanted to do my PhD abroad. I didn't want to do it in Ghana. Because
Mm.
the area I'm interested in, I want to specialize, like do a postdoc maybe later, not now, after my PhD
Sure,
in
sure, sure, sure.
neuro,
It's in the pipeline.
yeah, in neuropsychology, and that's like more of the brain, doing cognitive assessments and stuff like that. And to do that, I needed to do clinical psychology, but I didn't get a
Right.
job. So I was volunteering until 2018 when I had a job in Kolebu. So I got to be employed in
Okay.
Kolebu as a clinical psychologist, Department of Medicine. I was on the block, medical block, seeing clients, seeing patients. So somebody connected me to a J1 program in the US.
Somebody connected. Okay.
Yes. So the person knew what I've been doing, my volunteering experiences, my
Mm.
interest in supporting people, working with children with special needs, autism. and stuff like that. So that recommendation was the game changer for me. I never knew about this J1 program. He just called me one day and said, Jifa, there's this program in the US that I think would be a good fit for you. You should look into it. At
Right.
that point, I was getting really frustrated in Ghana. I was looking for PhD programs. I wanted to leave. And I said, I want a PhD program. I don't want a J1 program because J1 is a 1 year program. And when you
Hmm.
finish, you have to go back to your home country.
Right.
So I
Right. They're
said,
on your
okay,
neck to go back.
yes,
Yeah.
you must go back to your home country, or else you become an illegal immigrant. So I
Yeah.
told
And then Trump will
Dr.
come for you.
Jololo,
Yeah.
yeah, I told him, no, I didn't want a J1. And he said, you take a look at it, just consider it. You may
Hmm.
actually like it, and it may actually connect you to your PhD. And that was the wisdom he told me about. That was the
Right.
wisdom he gave me. And
Mm.
just doing that, I applied for that J1 program. It took a while. I applied in 2019. COVID hit. I didn't hear from them again for over a year to 2 years. And then they reopened the applications again. And they reached out to me that, oh, we are back. That was in 2021. If you're still interested. And I reapplied again, went through interviews, attended my interview in Ghana and got my J1 visa. So that's how come I ended up in the US on my J1 visa. But I
Hmm.
knew in at the back of my mind that I want a PhD. So even though I was
Right.
coming to the US, J1 wasn't the goal.
It's
J1,
not a
yes,
go.
it's America, but it's not the goal for me. I want to do a PhD program. So the moment I got here, and I'd already started applying for PhDs whilst in Ghana. So Temple was one university I found out, and
Temple.
I
Yeah.
Temple University, and I wanted Temple because I found a professor within the university who was doing research I was interested in. So it
Right.
matched my research interest. I said, I want to work with this professor. I wasn't just
Hmm.
choosing schools because they were offering scholarship or funding. I didn't even know about their funding office. But I knew that if I found a professor who was doing research in areas that I'm interested in, PhDs are funded. Most public schools fund PhDs. If you're paying for a
Wow.
PhD, I don't know why you're paying for a PhD.
Don't pay for
PhD,
PhD.
we don't pay for PhD. It is funded. So I knew when I applied for that program, I would get funding. So I
Right.
deferred that program and then came for my J1. And whilst during my J1 program, I reapplied again to Temple for my PhD. So by the time my J1 program will end, it hadn't even ended, but I had my admission to Temple. I applied in December, and in January, I already had my admission letter to Temple with full
Right.
funding. I didn't even have to
Right.
apply separately for funding. It's like automatic. When you're accepted for their PhD program, they give you funding. It comes with research
Okay.
assistantship and graduate assistantship. So I have
Right.
research, I have teaching experience. I taught University of Ghana distance students for so many years when I was doing my masters and after my masters. Those were some of the things I did to make money whilst in Ghana. So I had great teaching experience. I had research experience from my undergraduate research work I did. I did a study in suicide. I went to
Oh,
Ashaiman to
suicide
collect
prevention.
data for my undergrad. In my
Right.
master's, I did a research in neuropsych functioning of multiple substance users. So I was looking at
Oh,
neuropsychological
okay.
deficits. So their attention, their memory, people who use multiple drugs, how do they perform compared to the general population? So I had research experience. I didn't have any
Oh.
publication. I didn't have a
Hmm. Hmm.
publication. I
Hmm.
was trying to write my manuscript. I hadn't done it. It wasn't ready, but I still got accepted into a PhD program. So I tell people, don't let these things stop you. Even if you don't have a
Yeah.
research experience, you've done some group project work before. You have
Right.
put that in there somewhere in your
Yeah.
application that this is the
Yeah.
experience you have. So these are the things that worked to help me get into my PhD program. And
Yeah.
yeah,
People feel like you need to have, oh, I need to have a publication because they are just scared. You see, sometimes one of the reasons why people don't even do it is not that they don't have the qualification, it's fear.
yeah,
They
yeah,
are just afraid. Hey, how many people are even applying for this? Hey, they will not pick me or do not choose me. I don't have the credential. I've not done research. They give themselves every reason to not apply.
yeah,
Meanwhile, you have some experiences that it can. you strengthen your purpose statement, and then you
Yeah.
get the qualification. Mr. O was saying that my sister wants it's job block for neuropsychology. That's 300K per year industry. Oh. Go
I
for it.
know. I want it.
Yeah, he said it's all about entering the ecosystem, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Mhm.
take us back a bit, right? Tell us about national service. What did you do during
Okay.
your national service?
National service is an interesting story.
Yeah.
So I finished my degree and I wanted to work in Accra because of course my parents lived in Accra. And then
Right.
national service came and I was posted to the northern region to a school to teach in a school. And my dad said, "Nope. What are you going to do in the north? Like we don't have any relatives, you don't have anybody,
Yeah.
you're a young lady. How are you going to survive in the northern
Mm.
region?" So I was conflicted about going to the northern region. So they said they will talk
Wow.
to, they talk to people, they will talk to some big people to see if they can change it for you. They
For
tried
you,
doing
yeah.
it, it didn't work.
Yeah.
So one afternoon, after I stayed home for like 2 to 3 weeks after the postings came, I just went to Circle and booked the tickets to to Northern, to Tamale. And I came home and told them I am going to Tamale. I was posted to Savlugu. So Savlugu
Oh,
Nanton.
okay.
So that's how I was posted. I got my
Wow,
ticket
mentioning
and
the name is
everybody,
even a struggle.
I said,
Yeah.
no, I have to go. Like, what's the worst possible thing that could happen? I wanted a
Mm-hmm.
new experience. I didn't know what to expect, but I still packed my bag, got on
Mm.
the bus, and left for Tamale. I got there to the National Service Office. They told me that I didn't come the first 2 or 3 weeks that they were expecting me. So there are no teaching positions for me. Okay.
Mm.
So now I have to go and find my own position out there. Like I should just
Yeah.
go and find a place. And then when
Mm-hmm.
an organization is willing to take you, come back and tell us and we'll post you there. Like, how do you do that? I had no idea where I was, but luckily some old friends hosted me, like who were also now in the northern region. And somebody, a stranger and didn't know, told me to go and check Savlugu Hospital and that he knows the administrator there and that he thinks I could
Right.
work there. So on a motorbike, I went to Savlugu Nanton. I went and spoke to them, and they said, okay, we can host you here. That's how I ended up doing
Wow.
my national service in the pharmacy unit, but also counseling
Yeah.
mothers on how to take their medications during pregnancy. It was an interesting experience, and I
It's been a journey for you.
it was an interesting
Wow.
experience. But that was,
Wow.
I would say that that helped in my master's application. Because
Oh,
when I
okay.
applied for my master's and I mentioned that I'm just coming down from Tamale, because I was still there when I had to attend the interview, the
Mm-hmm.
panel were surprised. They were all men. And they said, how did you do it? Because you're a young lady, you don't know anybody in the north, you,
Yeah.
you had to rent a place. Like, how did you survive there? They didn't ask
Mm-hmm.
me any questions again. I was granted admission to do my master's in clinical psychology. So some of these things, we may not like them, but it speaks ahead
Yep.
of us. It goes ahead of us. It may be difficult and at the moment, but just endure it. Just try and psych yourself up and go through it. And you don't know what lies ahead for you.
Wow. Wow. You know, StarStel's story is her story is like Abraham. She didn't know what to expect. She was just going.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a walk of faith. Just
yeah.
going. Emmanuel says that that's determination. Kudos, StarStel, for your passion. And Prince says she's about telling the most interesting part of her journey from J to. Yeah, we'll come there. We'll come there. Prince, relax, relax.
People know my
Yeah,
story. My followers on my page.
yeah. And then Prince said, true fear. So please, if you're afraid, you will not eat.
Mm-mm.
We are not trained to step forward. Linda is also watching us. Prince is watching us. You are on the Study Abroad Experience podcast. Here, I bring the experiences of students who have traveled abroad on low budget. Now, at this point, I want to remind you that we have a Telegram page coming to America tomorrow. We'll be doing a visa interview preparation session. I don't know, were you part of the sessions or?
Yeah, you
Yes.
forgot? Yeah, I used to be
Yeah.
part
So,
until I got too busy.
yes, until she got her visa in Japan and left me. She left
Oh,
my
so I
matter. Yeah.
I didn't join for the mock sessions.
Not the mock
Um,
sessions. Okay,
no,
okay.
but I joined to help the mock sessions after I got my
Right.
visa. Yeah,
Right. Oh, okay, okay,
yeah.
okay, okay. Yeah,
I
yeah,
found
yeah,
your
yeah.
page through Choco, so that's how I joined your page.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, during my Choco interview. Okay, okay.
Yes,
All right.
yes,
All right.
that's how I found your page.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. Oh, that's
Mhm,
good. That's good. So we
mhm.
go way back. That interview has been like more than a year. Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, we do go way back. Brilliant says inspiring. So guys, if you are watching, please share this video.
Mhm.
Tag your friends. Share it on Facebook. StarStel is also on Facebook. We are going to talk about her page, but we'll come back to that. She's speaking on her journey transitioning from J1 to F1, getting the full scholarship. And I know many of you watching, this is your dream. Like somebody's living
Yeah.
your dream and you want to have the same thing. So learn from these conversations. Okay. So you transition from J1 to F1. Now we are confused. What is this JSQF that the US is telling us? Please explain to us what is a J1 visa?
Okay. So J1 visa is a trainee visa. The US has partnerships with several countries to train people from these developing countries and send them back to their home countries to support those specific industries. So J1 is for specific industries, it's not for every industry. So in
Oh, okay.
education, we have J1 visas in education. Mr. O
Mhm.
knows a lot about
Yeah.
J1 for teachers. So we have
Yes.
teachers who come in to come and teach in schools that really need their services. And we have special ed support services. So I was in an autism program. So they were training us to, so J1, you are not a student, you are not a worker. They call you a trainee. So you
Oh,
are
okay.
attached to a host organization which supports you. They give you stipend for the month. They
Right.
host you, they give you a place to live, and they train you on certain interventions. So that at the
Mhm,
end of
mhm.
your 1 year, it's 1 year. It can be 3 years for those who are working. But for my program, it was the trainee one. We have different J1s. I was on the trainee
Right.
one. We have student J1s as well. And we have people who come as researchers. Professors too
Oh,
can come
okay.
as J1 exchange scholars. So it's mostly called the exchange visa. So my
Oh,
own was
okay.
a trainee visa for 1 year. At the end of the 1 year, they can extend it for another 6 months for you. And then at the end of the six
Right.
months, you have 1 month to leave the US back to your home country. Yes.
Wow.
And you have
Wow.
to stay in your home country for 2 years before you can be allowed back in the US.
Wow. Then they are strict.
Yeah.
So would you say that the
Yes.
J1 has more like stricter
Oh, yes.
conventions than the F1?
Yes, it does. So when I came here on J1, people who are here already, they'll say, hey, this
Mhm.
visa, it allows you to come in, but it's a very complicated visa. There are people here who
Right.
ended up being illegal immigrants after their J1. And it's
Mm.
hard. Imagine you come in, you're a medical doctor, or you are like somebody with a master's like
Serious.
me, and you couldn't change your visa and you get stuck here. You can't go back because when you go, you can't come back in. It's hard. If unless
Wow.
you change it in good time to be able to
Mhm.
stay legally. And some people don't want to leave after their J1 because it's hard
Yeah.
to get visas from where we are coming from. So people choose not to leave after their J1 and it becomes very complicated. They do all kinds of things to stay in the system. But I have a family back home. I left my husband and 3 kids before coming to the US for my J1.
Wow.
So there is no way I could just stay here in the US and leave my family back in Ghana. I had to think of ways, either bringing them here or going back to join them in Ghana. So that's the J1 visa for you. So to stay, you have to change it to another visa.
Okay.
But to
Oh,
change
okay.
it, you can't change it within. To change it within, you must get a waiver approved, which takes a
Mhm.
while.
Right.
So for Ghana, especially when you apply, so you have to apply for that waiver from Ghana
Right.
embassy. And then when you get
Right.
that waiver approved, then you can now change it within the US. But if you don't get that waiver approved within the 1 year that you are here, it means you have to now leave the US and attend another interview outside the US before you can come back in.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay, so it doesn't. So does it have to necessarily be your country? Let's say if I have a Canadian visa and I want to go to
mhm.
Canada just because I want to be out of the US, is that possible for me, or
Oh
I
yes.
must go to my own home country?
Mm-mm. No, not necessarily the case. You can go to any neighboring country so long as you have
Right.
a visa interview appointment in that neighboring country. So options for me were Canada or Mexico. So those were two
Right.
neighboring countries, and you can make the case that you don't want to spend so much money in flying all the way
Hmm.
back to Ghana, which at that time was about $2,000, and flying to
Hmm.
Canada, which was just across from me, was about $700, and flying to
Right.
Mexico was also a little cheaper. So you consider those things in choosing a place, but you must
Hmm.
get a date in those neighboring countries, which is still not easy. Canada
Yeah.
date,
Yeah.
yeah, so I applied for a Canadian visa when I got here. So, like I said, J1, the moment I got here, I had to plan ahead. People don't plan
Okay.
ahead, and then the time
Mm.
comes. So, within 6 months in the US, I had applied for my Canadian visa because I
Right.
knew that at the end of my J1, I cannot stay here. But I can still go to
Right.
Canada and try to change my visa because I knew I had
Hmm.
admission and I have to go to school. So whilst I'm waiting to get the F1 to come in, I could be in a nearby country until I get my visa to come in. So Canada was
Oh,
an
okay.
option. But Canada gave me an interview date in 2025 to change from my J1 to the F1.
Wow. That means that if you had gone by that, you would still not have.
No, I wouldn't have started my PhD. It wouldn't
Wow.
have been because I would have just had to leave Canada and go back to Ghana and forfeit the PhD or defer it or something. So that wasn't working. So I had to look for other options. And I
Hmm.
thought of, I was, somebody told me to look at Mexico. But I was also
Yeah.
told that Mexico, people had concerns about where I was going in
Hmm.
Mexico due to the challenges going on in that part of Mexico.
Right.
So I was scared a bit because you
Hmm.
don't know anybody in Mexico. You don't speak
Yeah, you don't
Spanish.
know. Even the language, yeah.
I don't speak
That
Spanish.
alone is
I
a
don't know
deterrent.
anybody there. I didn't know how I was going to survive there. If I get stuck in Mexico, because your visa can be refused. The fact that you are going to change
Mm.
it is not automatic that when you go, it will be approved.
By the
It
time you
could be.
realize, hey, she's in Mexico, she's not coming back.
And I know somebody whose visa was denied in Mexico. He
Wow.
was on J1 here and left to go and change and didn't get it approved.
Yeah.
So, and if your J1 has expired as you are going there, it means you don't have the J1 to bring you back in to the US. And now you're stuck
Wow.
in Mexico. And if you don't have the Canadian visa and you haven't packed your bags and everything, so leaving for,
Trouble for you.
yeah, getting the interview date in Mexico, it was hard. It wasn't easy. I had to pray a lot. It was a whole process. Like
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
even talk about it in this short video, but I trusted God every step of the way. I
Trusted
trust
God.
in God every step of the way. I don't worry anymore. I say that after everything God has done for me, Jifa, if I doubt Him, then there's something
Mm.
wrong with me. I don't
Word, word,
worry.
word.
I don't worry. I don't stress because I had my date when it was almost the end of my J1 visa.
Right.
Canada gave me 2025. I tried Ghana. I wasn't getting a date in Ghana. Then I tried Mexico. I had a month after my program had started in the US, and which wasn't going to be helpful because I have to be here
Not
before my
favorable.
program
Yeah.
starts. So I kept checking, checking, checking. And I think about a week or two for my J1 to end, then a date opened in Mexico. And
Oh.
I just went online and I was just checking because I'd been checking. And then I got a date open in Mexico, in Ciudad Juarez. And I just picked that date and booked my flight to leave, quickly
Sharp.
plan and leave the US and go to Mexico, get my interview, attend my interview. I was there for like 8 days and then flew back to the US. So it's a whole process, but I had to plan ahead.
Wow.
It wasn't
Wow.
easy. It was scary. It
Wow.
was a scary experience.
Wow. You
Mhm.
know, guys, if you are very observant, you realize two things. She said God and then plan ahead.
Yeah.
God and then plan ahead. Very, very key factors in your journey to studying abroad. Um, Okay, so let me take a few comments here. Francis says, watching you live from Kumasi. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then Emmanuel says, another big name mentioned, Mr. O. My regards to him. Mr. O will be coming on the Study Abroad Experience podcast
Okay,
very soon.
nice.
Very soon. He says, yes, so J1 is broad. Guys, if you are in education, want to teach, you want to know how to travel abroad, also on low budget, you can also follow MrO.com. And then he says, hey, sister, who wants to go back? Who wants to go back? Guys, keep the comments coming. Keep the comments coming. Who wants to go back when there's money here? He says, yep. And then he says, Danny says, not necessarily your home country. Any consulate in your neighboring country can give you appointment, just as StarStel mentioned. So at this point, I'll let you guys know that she also has a page on Facebook. You're on social media. Please tell us about it before we continue with the conversation.
Yeah. So my page is StarStel on Facebook. You can find me. I have some videos on YouTube, StarStel TV. I haven't posted in a while since PhD
Yeah.
started PhD, but I have very useful videos there that you can look at. I always say that I was looking for resources when I was trying to go through this whole process. And people's
Right.
videos helped me. People tell me, why do I even put my face out there? Because I am not
Right.
a very outgoing person. But
Hmm.
I saw the need of creating these videos because somebody would watch and learn and benefit from it. So
Mm.
I encourage you, follow StarStel. I shared post a lot on how to apply for funding, how to get scholarship, like the
Right.
whole study abroad process and how to go about it. And I also
Right.
review, I try to review CVs and SOPs for people. When you send it to my email, within good time, normally it takes me about a week or two. I'm able to look at it, give you feedback, and send it back to
Yeah.
you at no cost at all. I do this as something I can give back for everything I have received. So you
Mm.
can follow my page on Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah. In fact, I want to share the page right now. Look at this page. This is a page. This is a page. See the way she's smiling? Yeah, it means she's welcoming and she's ready to help you. So travel abroad is not for you if, and then she stated the reasons why. That is her. And then you can see her kids on the other side. They are chilling in America. So that's it. So yeah, she also shared this. Yeah, basically just go to her page and check, right? She has a lot of content. When you go there, just go to the video section,
Yeah.
just check this side videos. Okay, videos. You can see here video. Let's draft a CV for your grad school application. So I don't know if I'm share. Am I sharing this
Yeah,
on the screen right now?
I
Yes.
can
Okay.
see it.
Okay. Good.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that is a page, guys. You can learn a lot. I'm enjoying the conversation. Now let me take a couple of comments and then we go back to Ison Dani is giving me a compliment here. Smart woman.
Thank
Uh
you. Mhm.
Emmanuel also says this. And then Mr. O says, you must go to your home country if you don't have the waiver of visa appointment to change your status.
Mhm.
And then Linda says, I'm learning more about the J1 visa today. Good job, legend. And thanks for coming on board StarStel. And then Prince also giving us praying hands. He says, preach. Mr. O, hey, I'm a teacher. Oh. I pack my studies brain. And then he says, follow her for more info. Yes. Right. So, guys, this is a Study Abroad Experience podcast. I'm speaking with StarStel. She also makes content for students who want to study abroad. I'm going to go to my next question. Also, keep your questions coming. I'm going to take them. Now, what are the key differences between your academic experience in your home country and the US?
Hmm.
Speak to
Very
us.
different. Very, very different. The first thing I would even say is the infrastructure, the access to um, cutting edge equipment and stuff you can use. I love testing. I'm a clinical psychologist by training. The
Right.
experience I get using these psychological tests. The first time I saw, so we have this test, Wechsler um, assessment scale, the Wechsler test, and a
Right.
new one was released this year, the fifth edition. And I get excited when I see psychological tests. It's just me. And the ones we were using in Ghana, we were using like maybe second edition or third edition. And the
Hmm.
world has gone far ahead of those tests. There are newer norms. Here,
Right.
there's access to these newer versions of these tests. Also, the faculty, the professors you work with. My professors treat you as colleagues. Back in Ghana, that wasn't the case. My course advisor goes by her first name. Like she wants you
Right.
to call her by her first name. You don't do that in Ghana. It's
Yeah.
like it's a very comfortable and it's it's a nice environment to study. Okay. Also funding. There are no scholarships in Ghana for PhD. Maybe today there are some, but when I was there applying, there were no scholarships for PhD. So these are some of the differences. Also, the learning is very practical. It's not chew and pour, pass and forget.
Mm. Yeah.
Whatever we are
Yeah.
learning in the classroom, I told you I was doing clinic. I have clinic on Thursdays from morning to like 5 p.m. We are at clinic, seeing cases, receiving supervision. On Wednesdays, I'm in a private school seeing students, practicing what I'm
Right.
learning under supervision. So there's this practical aspect incorporated into the program. It's not like you
Hmm.
finish your program and then you now go and do internship or something and you don't really get direct supervision. So it's very, very
Right.
practical. So these are some of the things that make studying abroad a very great experience. And you see the difference in your learning and in your growth. You see you're getting better. And there's competition also. There is more competition. I
Mm.
didn't feel like I was challenged back when I was schooling in Ghana. There is more
Mm.
challenge here because you have a very diverse population and people
Right.
who are striving to be better. The system forces you to do better. You can't just be
Mm.
stagnant. Okay,
Right.
so these are the main differences. So if you don't want to improve, if you don't want to be pushed, you don't want to be challenged, don't come here. Don't come here.
Just stay home
Because,
and feel
yeah,
comfortable.
yes, there is no comfort zone here. This place will
Mm.
push you to be a better person, to be um, an expert in your field. So by the time you
Yeah.
are done, you feel more confident in your abilities.
Mm. Let them know that study abroad is not just selfies. Hey, I'm in the US, I'm in the UK. Hey, I'm going here, I'm in Europe, I'm touring Europe. It's not just that, but you will be
No.
challenged. Yes, there's enjoyment, there's
Mm,
place for enjoyment,
yeah.
but you will be challenged with the education system because you are not
Mm,
used to it. You are coming to a
yeah.
different place. They learn differently, they approach things differently, they understand differently. So it's going to
Yeah.
be a challenge for you. So you always have to keep in mind that these things are going to be challenging. Very, very important. Yeah. So Mr. O is asking on the PhD path, is the partner allowed to work full time?
No. No, it's not. I know for J1 visas, for the teachers one, their partners are allowed to work. Mr. O can correct me if I'm wrong. But for the F1 visa, your spouse comes on an F2 visa. So they are not
Independent.
allowed to. They are not allowed to work. So they would have to change to another visa status, maybe the F1 visa as well, so that when they are
Right.
working, they can now be able to work. When they are schooling, they can now be able to work. So that's what most people do. When your spouse joins you, they can also go to school and then be able to work and support you.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah.
So let us talk about you went for a visa interview, right?
Mhm.
Let's talk about what you were asked. What were you asked? What were some of the questions? How do you prepare for visa interview? Because some of us, yes, eventually we all want to study abroad. But guess what? You have an obstacle. The
Mhm.
man at the window or the woman at the window is the obstacle, the one giving you your student visa. So, what are some of the challenges you encountered? How did you go about it?
For me, unfortunately, I didn't have any challenging questions. So, like so I attended two interviews. My first one was the J1 interview in Ghana. To
Right.
come for the first one. That interview, they asked me even more questions than my F1 interview.
More,
Yeah. So the J1 interview, they asked me, what am I doing in Ghana? What program am I coming to do in the US? Um, the counselor even asked me if I knew the data on um, like the statistics for autism in Ghana, because I was coming to do an autism program. And I
Hmm.
told this counselor, Ghana, we barely do much research. We don't have enough data on these things in Ghana. That is why I'm going to
Yeah.
learn this thing so I can come and support my country and do more research in that area.
Right.
So, and I knew we don't have the data, so I can't pretend or fake I know it. So I thought that was interesting. And he said, "Oh, yeah, that's very true. I know there's challenge in doing research in Ghana." And he actually agreed with me on what I was saying. So it's all about the confidence. Okay, I always say confidence
Right.
should be your hallmark when you are going for these visa interviews. It's not do or
Very
die.
key.
If you go for these interviews thinking that it's the end of the world for me, it is like life or death, it would show
Yeah.
in your confidence because it's like
Mm.
this is just the end for me. But no, I was going for that interview. Yes, I knew I wanted to leave for my J1, but I also knew that if it didn't work out that day, it will still work out another time. It's that belief that
Yeah.
things will work out for me. Like it will work out.
That's true.
Things will
Keep
work out.
trying.
Like, so long as you're a child of, unless you're not a child of God, so long as you're a child of God, things will work out for you. Just believe
It's
it.
gonna work out. Yeah.
Yes. Do your part, do your background research, do your readings, and show up confident. You will not
Mm.
be able to predict all the questions. It's good to do these mock
Yep.
interviews to have an idea what the questions look like, but some can even throw you off. I didn't think they would ask me statistics on autism in Ghana, but that's what I was asked. And I needed to know how to respond to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
For my
And even some
F1,
of the questions can throw you off, you know?
yes, yes. For my F1, that's the one I would actually say I was more anxious about because I was in somebody's country. In Ghana, I know I'm in Ghana. I'm far, I'll just go home. But this one, I was in Mexico. I was in somebody's country. I didn't
Some of
have
these countries
anybody
with a
there.
different language.
Yeah. So if I go there and they have to give you another counselor who speaks English, because a lot of 90% of the people there are from that country, they are Spanish speakers, they have their own queue,
Right.
and you are giving another person who speaks English. So you go for that interview. She only asked me, what am I applying for? Why am I applying for the visa? I said, I need to change my visa from J1 to F1 to pursue a PhD in school psychology at Temple University. I have full funding for that program. She said, okay. What was the other question? The other question was, it was something about the J1, whether I had finished my J1 program exactly. And I said, yes,
Right.
my J1 program just ended like 2 weeks ago. Like it had just ended. It said, okay, your visa has been approved. That was it. It wasn't a difficult
Wow.
interview. I know people have very difficult interviews. They
Oh
ask them
yeah,
all
yeah.
kinds of things, but
Yeah, some people can even spend as much as 10 minutes at the window. Usually they will
yeah.
spend maybe like 2, 3 minutes. But if you are spending more than 5 minutes, it means yours is a serious case. We have to look into it. So they start asking you
So
more questions.
it was
So now,
easy.
yeah. So J1, we've had J1, J1, F1. Who can apply for a J1 visa? Can I
Okay.
just get up and say, yeah, J1, like who applies?
So anyone can apply, but you need to find a host institution. So there are some
Okay.
people who are in hospitality for J1. People, so hospitality, hotels. I know that program. We have tourism programs for J1. We have
Right.
education programs for J1. We have medical program for J1. We have research programs for J1. You have to search. I don't know how to find them, but there are so many programs out there for J1. Okay, it's the teachers
Right.
who you
Right.
mostly know that you can just apply to certain organizations and agencies and they would help you out. But for J1, the one I found, I didn't even know that something like that existed. But most behavioral centers or agencies here that deal with mental health have J1 programs. Okay, so the
Mm.
agency I was with was an autism agency. So you can look for agencies offering autism program, J1 autism programs in the US, and you might
Oh,
find
okay.
something. So agencies
Oh, okay.
offering J1 in hospitality, just Google it, you might find something. I don't want to put names out here.
Right, right.
Yeah, so but if you want direct information on where I did my J1, you can just email me or send me a message on my page, in my inbox on StarStel. I'll give you some details on that. That is if you are in psychology or you're in special
Hmm.
education. So you need to have a
Right.
psychology background, a bachelor's. So they just need a bachelor's in psychology. You don't even need a
Right.
master's. I came with a
Right.
master's, but they want people with a bachelor's in psychology. So the psychology
Oh,
that I
okay.
ended up in by chance actually opened the gate for me to be on a J1 program. So even though I didn't plan to do psychology from the beginning. So you need
Wow.
education or psychology to
Wow. Yeah, because sometimes people approach me and they were like, okay, I want research programs or I want a scholarship for this. And in my mind, I'm thinking F1 because I'm an F1
Mhm.
specialist. But I
Uh-huh.
didn't know that
Mm.
you can
Yeah.
explore all those things
Oh yes,
in
there are
J1,
research programs in
Yeah.
J1. My
Yeah.
colleague, Professor Yendok, has been in the US. She came on a J1 program um, to one of the universities. So you can also check universities offering J1 programs for students. So people
Right.
can research that as well, and they might find options. J1 is not a bad program. The good thing about J1 is that so the organization that you are contacting, they interview
Hmm.
you and they send you a
Right.
packet to send to your interview. So before you
Hmm.
attend your interview, you are already in touch with the organization that is hosting you. So it
Oh, okay.
opens the door. It's easier. It's like this organization is receiving you. They've approved your coming. They are willing to support you. So you easily get your visa. But it's not easy to find the
Wow.
program. So if you find a
Wow.
J1 program, pursue it because it can
Wow.
open the door for you to actually travel abroad
Wow.
compared
So
to
once you
S1.
once
Yeah.
you get it, once you get the program, it's easier
It's
from there.
likely. Yeah. Most
Wow.
people who attend
Wow.
J1 interviews get it. Like it's not like F1 that maybe 80% are denied and maybe 20% get it. Most J1 people, because you have the package from the organization, you are showing that I'm in touch with these people. It's just like the H1B. So they know that the
Wow.
organization is sponsoring you. It's easier to get those visas approved.
It's see, it's you see, that's why sometimes we have some of these conversations because
Yeah.
you will not find this knowledge just in the open. You have to
Mhm.
go struggling to search for it. So if you have
Yeah.
a few people that come out to
To
show
share.
you the way, show just go after their content.
Yeah.
Mr. Who knows what I'm saying? Now,
Mhm.
Vincent confirms your dialogue. He says that once you're an F1, your partner can't work. And then Honorable Jerry says educative conversation. Linda, I like your spirit of positivity. And then
Thank
Mr. O was
you.
saying, wow, stats on autism in Ghana.
Mr. O will partner and do that research. I need funding for
Yeah.
that.
And then Pray says Ohio University offers J1 for those in agriculture. That's good.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
yeah, join the conversations, get the information. Okay, guys. And even Charles is saying that this is the first time he's hearing of a J1 visa. Yes, it's in the US, it's possible.
Yeah.
And like StarStel says, that when you apply, your chances of getting the approval to come and study in the US are very, very high.
Oh, and there
Right.
are summer programs as well for J1. So we have these summer programs where people come to be camp coordinators, camp supervisors during the summer vacation period. So that one is normally just 3 months. I know some people who are here on
Wow.
that J1 visa as well. It's also a J1 visa, but it gives you 3 months to just be here during the summer camps. And then after that, you have to leave. So when you come on that, it opens the door for you, but you have to do with
Yep.
it what you will when you get in.
Do what you will.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say just come and get stuck here, but you must plan ahead. Be
Yeah.
smart about it.
Be smart about it. So many keys are being dropped. Now, guys, at this point in time, I just want to show you that I have something here. I convert every podcast into an audio. So this is the study abroad experience. If you are someone that you drive and maybe you cannot watch the video at the same time, and you want to listen, okay, or maybe you are working in the kitchen or you are doing something and you have your earpods, you just want to listen. Go to the podcast, download. You don't even need to download. Just click the play button and then you can listen. I have a lot of episodes over there that you can gain insight from. Okay, so that is about it. Just look for Danny Legend and you find it. Emmanuel, this is a very fantastic conversation. Oh yeah, it is a very fantastic conversation. Now, can you share with us your travel experience? How did you prepare moving? Let's go back
Hmm.
a bit. Moving to a new country. What did you
Yeah.
have to do? What should students keep in mind?
Okay. So I would share my preparation as a mom because when I was
Right.
living in Ghana, my daughter was 6 years, my son was 4, and the last one was still breastfeeding. He was 1 year old.
Mm,
So this
wow.
was a difficult move for me. When I applied for the J1 at that time, like when they got back in touch with me, I was pregnant then. But I said, okay, I'll still apply, I'll still pursue it and see how it goes. And I applied for my visa interview at that time, and my date was a year, the following year. So I knew that by the
Wow.
time I would attend that interview, my son would have been born and would be like a year old. So my son just celebrated his 1 year birthday in March when I left in April. So I had to make sure that I had a supportive system to be with my family. My husband is very supportive. I'm so grateful for my partner. If not for
Mm,
him, I wouldn't be doing a PhD. It wouldn't have been possible with
wow.
3 kids. So I left my husband with 3 kids, and my grandma was there. His mothers were available to support. Like I've had a lot of family support to help me
Right.
get this far. And I have friends who are very supportive. Financially, so I had to plan ahead, like make sure I had money. I didn't have enough money when I was coming, but I was in touch with people who were willing to support me. So I always say that
Mm.
if you don't have money, you must have good character. So people will be willing to help you. So if you don't have money, you don't have good character, I don't know what we can do for you.
You are doomed
So
for life.
you must be able to have good character and people will be willing to support you. So these are two
Right.
big things I had to, and I had to be willing to let go of
Mm.
everything. It's not
Wow.
easy for some mothers
Wow.
or even fathers to let go and just leave everything you're familiar with to a new country. So these were the things I had to do, and I had to be disciplined. Applying for school is not an easy process. Applying for these things, it takes discipline, it takes dedication,
Yeah.
it takes
Yeah.
commitment. You don't
Yeah.
just start one day and stop. Temple is
Hmm.
not the only school I applied to. I applied to other schools as well.
Right.
My transcript, I didn't even talk about that. My transcripts didn't get to the school, some of the schools when it had to. So my application was denied because they needed my official
Mm.
transcripts. Temple
Oh, okay.
considered my application without University of Ghana went on strike. The month I applied for my transcripts. I applied for my
Wow.
transcripts like August. It didn't come till the following year, January. Yes, they were on strike. I did
Wow.
everything possible. I couldn't get my official transcript. I applied for West evaluation. I paid for it. West couldn't get the transcript from University of Ghana.
Mm.
And this was a very difficult experience for me. So these are some of the things that you have to psych your mind up for. Things will not go the way you want it to go. So you have to start planning ahead. When people reach out to me, I want to travel abroad, I want to come and study abroad. What do I do? Or give me schools. I want scholarship. I
Yeah.
say traveling abroad doesn't just start with scholarships because then you are doing a great job sharing scholarship opportunities. But you must make sure that whoever you, the person listening to Danny, make sure that your experiences, your background match whatever the school that he's offering you is um looking for. If your background,
Hmm.
you just be applying amiss and you not make
Yep.
progress. So my background
Right.
experience was relevant to whatever I was applying for. So this is something I had to make sure that my experience matched the school I wanted to go to, my education matched the program I wanted to do, and also I had support, knowing that even when I'm not in Ghana, my family will be okay. And then I
Wow.
can focus on school because with a family is different. If you are single,
Hmm.
it's easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with family, you
Yeah.
have to plan. And for F1, if you're not on a PhD program, you need more money to take care of your family when they join you. Without
Mm.
funding, I don't know how you're going to do that because it's not cheap to live in the US. That's
It's
another
not cheap.
conversation we'll have another day. Where you live matters, the school your kids attend matters. You cannot just say when
Yeah.
we get there, we figure it out. We don't do that. You have to plan ahead. I don't know. I can't overemphasize that. You have to plan
That's
ahead. You
true.
don't
You
just
know,
get
people
up
feel like
one
if you're
day.
in US, it's yeah, you have all the money, send money, send money.
Mm-mm.
it's not that easy.
Yeah, it's not that
Yeah,
easy.
there's a lot that go into it. Yeah. Concerning your husband helping you, Emmanuel says that men we are good, oh, but Father's Day is least regarded.
Oh, it's not true.
Yeah, once you're a good father, I mean, you'll be regarded. Just be a good father.
Yeah.
The Study Abroad Experience Podcast. That's the name of the podcast. Prince is asking, what is the name of the podcast? So that is it. Right. So, guys, keep your questions coming. Take half a second to like this video and share with your friends. Now, I know we have spoken about PhD experience. Just give us
Mhm.
a little bit more. Tell us about your PhD journey so far. How many
Okay.
semesters have you done? How many,
Okay.
weeks and all that?
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. So, one thing I would say is that before coming to the US, we didn't even understand what I didn't understand their semesters. Fall
Hmm.
semester, spring semester. Like, what is that? Summer.
Yeah,
I didn't even know of that. So I
that's true.
came back from Mexico a week after school had started, and that was my fall semester, which was in August. And that semester was one of the most hectic semesters I'd had because I just
Mm,
finished my J1, traveled to Mexico, all that commotion, coming
hmm
back to the US, trying to get accommodation, a place to live, and then starting school, okay, in a new place.
Yeah.
I had about 4 classes that semester alongside doing my practicals started the first semester. I was assigned a school.
Oh,
We
okay.
do classroom interventions, and twice a week, I had to go to that school and do classroom interventions, implementing the things that I'm learning in the school. It's I'm glad my family wasn't here at that time, even though I miss them
Mm,
so much. I always said that it was a difficult period, and also being in Philly, I was in New York for my J1, but currently I'm in Pennsylvania,
okay.
Philadelphia. It's a different state.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
The name of the school.
Temple. I'm at
Okay.
Temple University. Yeah,
Okay.
it's
So,
in
guys, Temple.
Philadelphia.
Right.
Yeah. So we have 3 semesters: the fall semester, the spring, and the summer semester. Some people think that in summer you get a break. In fact, that's what I thought. That's summer, yeah, you get a break, and then people say, "Oh, they go and work. You can work full time as F1 during your summer." So for
Yeah.
those who don't have full funding, their plan is that when they come during summer, they can work. Guys,
Yeah.
during summer, I was still taking like 3 classes. Like I had to take
Wow.
classes. There was no
Well,
break.
some people say some are chilling. Kwa.
No, I haven't chilled. I think I had all my chilling on my J1. So when I was doing my
Right.
J1, I had breaks, I had vacation, I could travel. So I did a lot of traveling during my J1. But now that on my PhD, I can't travel because the program doesn't offer you that. It's a full-time commitment. PhD is
Wow.
serious business. So
Mm.
if you don't want it, there are people who get sacked. People end up going back home because they couldn't finish their
Mm.
PhD programs.
Couldn't finish. Yeah.
It happens.
And you have to
It
do
happens.
like, what's the name? The one that your first year you'd go through the trials. What's the name of that? I don't know if your program has that, but some programs your first year is like a trials to really enter the
Okay.
program.
Oh no, my program doesn't do that. But what my
Oh,
program
okay.
does is that my program is a 4 to 5 year program. They say it's 4 years, but it can be 5 years. And you don't need a master's to come in. So that's what I keep
Mm.
telling people. You can do a PhD with a bachelor's from Ghana. I have people, my PhD class, we are just 4 people in that classroom. And there are people
Right.
in my class who don't have a master's degree.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Just two
okay.
of us have a master's. The other two didn't come in with a master's degree. They came in with
Oh,
their
okay.
bachelor's, but just that they were
Oh, okay.
working on research projects from wherever they were working from. So the research experience helped them to get in. So that's one thing about PhD. Your research experience is very relevant. So in the first year of my program, you still do a master's. So I just finished
Hmm.
my second master's. So at the end
Oh,
of
okay.
May, I got another master's from this PhD program. Okay, even though I didn't apply for a master's, it's part of the program. And you
Mm.
actually start your research in your third year. So I'm in my second year right now. and I'm just working on my proposal. So people who say they don't have a proposal, they don't have a research topic, you don't
Mm-hmm.
really have you don't need to have it figured out. Just have an idea. Whatever you submit is not like a done deal. It doesn't mean that
Right.
whatever you put in, that's what you have to do when you come. For the pure sciences, that may be
Mm-hmm.
very relevant. But for social sciences, it can change when you come on
Oh,
the
okay.
program. Yes, it can change. And then we have an exams we take at the end of our third year. I think that's what you're talking about. To be a licensed psychologist in the US, after my program, I still have to take um, an licensure exams to be able to
Right.
practice in the US.
Oh, okay. Wow. I have a question here for you. I don't know if you want to touch on the money aspect or you want to
I
give us
don't
a
mind.
range.
I can
Yes,
give
Mr.
a
O
range.
says, are you paid enough on the PhD program?
I would say yes if you're alone because the money they are giving you is for just you. It's not for you and your family.
Okay.
So every program and the range they give. In um, Pennsylvania, different universities here give different fundings. There are universities here that give up to 30,000 um, a year, okay, for your
Right.
PhD. So every month you may be getting like 30,000, $3,000 or a little below $3,000. Some gave 27,000, some gave, so that's the range. So in a month, you may get like between 2,000 to 3,000. Let that be like an estimate for
Dollars.
you, dollars of what
US
you could
dollars. Yeah.
earn, US dollars.
Yeah.
This
Not Ghana dollars.
money, no, this money is not for your school fees. Maybe if you're taking 2.5, it's to take care of you. Accommodation in the US, if you know very well, where you live, it's important. If you are single, like Danny, you are single, right?
Okay. Yes. Single.
If you are single, you could just rent a one bedroom um in an area that is you're not so worried about. But for me
Yeah.
with a family, I have to ensure that I live in a place where the school districts are good. All
Mm-hmm.
schools are not the same in
That's
the
true.
US. I work in schools, so I can tell you that all schools are not the same. There are schools here that are under resourced. There are schools here that don't have enough teachers. There are schools here that have a lot of crime and things going on in those places. So you may not want to
Right.
live in those places if you are coming in with children because you want your children to get a very good experience. You want them to have access to resources. And those places
Right.
are more expensive. So you could be paying, somebody could be paying for $700 a month. I have my former roommate I had when I came. She pays 700 a month where she lives close to campus. But I cannot live close to campus because I don't want my
Right.
kids to go to schools close to campus. Okay,
Right.
because of the challenges that go around that place and the kind of challenges in the schools around there. Where I want to
Mm-hmm.
live is way expensive than that place. So
Mm-hmm.
you can weigh it. And commuting, you have to plan how to commute. You may need to get a car if there isn't easy transportation where you are. So all those will make your money okay or not okay. If you're alone, I think it's
That's
very,
true.
very okay. It should be enough for you. But if you have
Mm-hmm.
family, and you know Ghana, we call it black tax. You have to send money home. Mhm.
Yeah.
People are depending on you. Maybe people are you are owing people because they supported you when you came. So that
When you
money
were
they are
coming,
giving
yeah.
you,
Time to pay
you
back.
now have to pay back people.
Yeah.
So all this puts pressures on international students. So even though people are
Mm,
studying here, people are going through a lot, even though they may be
that's
on
true.
funding, even though they
That's
have
true.
funding. So imagine you don't
That's
have
true.
funding. If you don't have funding,
Imagine, oh, imagine.
yeah, you don't have funding, that's more difficult because relatives don't understand that you don't have funding. They still
Yeah.
want you to send them, like you're in
Yeah.
America.
You are in
Why are you not
America.
sending money home? Uh-huh.
Yeah. Wow. It's true. This is the reality on the ground, guys. You don't hear these things. People, yes, we have nice pictures on social media, but we are going through a lot. We are going through it's branding. Forget the branding.
Picture is
We are going
nothing.
through. All right. So Kwesi says, are you considering bringing family? Should we tell Kwesi? I think we should tell
Please
him.
tell him.
Yes. So she has been able to bring her family here.
Yeah,
All
my
right.
family is here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Prince said, may we not start what we can't finish, which is very, very true. And Raymond
Yeah.
says, thanks for sharing, StarStel. It's been a wonderful conversation. If you are not following her Facebook, please go and follow. I shared the page. Just go to Facebook and search for StarStel. As it stands, she has 3K followers. So if you see another one with different number, it's not her.
Not
So
me.
as at November 2024, it's 3K. Yes. So if the number changes, don't say that you're expecting to see 3K. All right. So finally, just take about two questions. How has networking been for you? What role has networking played for you in your journey?
I would say networking has helped me a lot settle where I am. So what I did when I came to the US, I partake in volunteer opportunities. So any opportunity I can get to volunteer somewhere, I take part in it. I also have a church family, and these people have been very helpful in helping me settle in a
Mm,
new place, especially the churches I found myself in. They are very, very
right,
helpful. Even just talking about the personal aspects, also for professional growth within these communities, you find people who are here, who are working here. So, looking for internship
right.
opportunities, you can talk to these people. These people, like anywhere else, if they don't know you, it's hard for people to trust you or to allow you into their spaces. So
That is
networking is
true.
very important. Attending seminars is very important, but start from like your immediate community. I'm not saying just be out there in the spaces, but if you're an international student or you plan to be here, don't just want to associate with your Ghanaian community or your African communities.
Right.
Try
Don't
to
limit yourself.
integrate. Yes, try to integrate to the communities around you so that when you finish your program and you now want to work for a while before you head back home, you'll be able to get those links or opportunities from these people. Attend seminars. For me, it's not been easy combining research, teaching, classes, and everything. But just this
Mm,
past week, I had opportunity to attend a conference in Harrisburg in Pennsylvania. And even though it was very difficult to do, I still managed to attend. And through these conferences, you get to connect with people, you get to learn more about the place where you are, the challenges in these
wow.
spaces, and how you can also add or contribute to the space you find yourself in.
Contribute.
So volunteer
Mm,
opportunities, try. My church, like they have lots of volunteer opportunities, and if I can, I'm able to make time, I just join in. And you can write these things on your CV because they love to see that you're somebody who loves to give back. It will speak well for you
mm.
in the future.
Wow, wow. This is very, very insightful. So, how have you made friends in your PhD, or you are too busy on your books?
Oh no, I've made
The
friends, but
social life. Tell us about social life. Can somebody
okay,
still manage to have a social life doing
you
PhD? Because
can.
the way that sometimes PhD students scare some of us, we don't want to venture. Sometimes you have a lot of scholarship. You say, "Hey, bro, I have PhD. Will you do PhD scholarship?" I'm sharing. Be like, "Hey, Charlie, PhD. Yeah, no one do more because I'm looking for masters only." So tell us, can you really have a social life
So
doing
they can
PhD?
finish. I also think because people think PhD takes longer. Okay, because masters, it could be 1 year, 2 years, you're done, and then you move on with your life. But for the
Yeah.
social life aspect, just yesterday, my class, so we have campus organizations, campus groups. My class organized a Friendsgiving. We have Thanksgiving coming in a
Thanksgiving.
couple of
Okay.
days. Thanksgiving coming, so we organize Friendsgiving. And Friendsgiving, we bring our own food, we share, we meet in a friend's house. They also organize events at bars, and they meet
Right.
up and drink. If you don't drink, you can order something non-alcoholic and just hang out with them. For me, it's been
That's true.
challenging, but yesterday, when I showed up at our Friendsgiving, everybody was excited because they said, "Oh, since your family came, we rarely see you."
You've not been
And they
seeing you.
understand that, yes, I have a lot on my plate. But these are some of the ways it's good to connect with people. It's good to build those friendships with people because these people are here already before you came here. And they are the
Right.
ones who can help you find your bearing, find your space when you are
Mm.
not so sure of what to do. It gets overwhelming.
Yep.
PhD
Yep.
can get
Yep.
overwhelming. But when we meet and we talk and we discuss our challenges, you realize that you're not the only one struggling. They are also
That's
struggling. It's
true.
not an individual, it shouldn't make you doubt yourself that you're not competent
Mm.
enough or you're not good enough. when you are able
Mm.
to connect with them, then you get to know that they're also experiencing similar things that I am, or I'm even doing much better than some other people,
Yeah.
how I'm balancing things. So these are some of the ways I try to connect with my friends and attend programs if I can. I'm not always
Mm.
able to, but if I can, I show
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. And also join organizations, right?
Yes,
You have
yes. Join
something for your CV,
organizations.
be in a club
And
group, you know?
yes,
Yeah.
all that is
Yeah.
important.
Emmanuel says you've been marvelous to us tonight, StarStel.
Thank you, Emmanuel.
And then MFA says, is it advisable when you applying to do it with the entire family? You take the lead and let them come later.
Depends on your pockets. If you have enough money to bring your whole family. For PhD, you can if you have funding. If you have
Right.
funding, but the funding doesn't cover your family, it covers you. So you may have to add up to it. Okay, you can get the visa, but also for home ties sake, I would say that you
Mhm.
go ahead. And then when you settle, you find a good place, you are okay, and then they can join you. So that's what I did. I came
Mm.
ahead and then my family joined later.
And they joined you later.
Mm.
Prince, enjoyment galore. Eyes on Danny, you just ended full of bless you for the insight. Bless you too. Yes, I know that you guys are being inspired and you are gaining some insight from the conversation I'm having here. We have gone a little bit above 1 hour, so it is time for us to wrap up. But my final question, since we don't have any coming from the comment section, is that what is your final advice for students who want to come to the US to study or any place, study abroad, any place?
My final advice will be that nobody can desire this study abroad experience more than yourself. Sometimes
Mm,
people reach out and it's like they want you to do the work for them. If you want to study abroad, you have to learn to do things yourself. Commit yourself to it and don't give up till you see the results. People give up easily. Keep your eye on the goal that I want this for
yeah.
myself. I desire this.
Hmm.
I wanted to move. I wanted to do a PhD. I wanted to have my family abroad. I wanted this
Hmm.
experience. And that kept me going. So, what is
That's true.
motivating you? What is pushing you? If you are comfortable where you are, you will not pursue anything. So,
Mm,
what do you want? I can't want it for you. I can't push you to apply.
mm,
It's about the
that is
commitment
true.
to the goal that I'm going to be disciplined. I'm going to keep trying. That is my word. Keep trying till I succeed. Like, don't settle. That is me.
Mm,
I don't settle. Like, don't get
mm,
comfortable. Don't settle for less because you deserve more. You are good. When you come here, you see that hey, we are smart people. We are intelligent people. It's just that we have challenges where we are coming from, but you are good. Like, don't let self-doubt stop you from applying for schools.
mm.
Just apply. Match yourself to the right
Apply.
programs and apply. And keep trying till you succeed because you will. You will.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. Prince is saying it won't be complete without mentioning Nima. Oh, I think you joined late, Prince. You joined late. She
Prince is
mentioned
late.
Nima. Yeah. So thank you so much for coming on today's podcast. I really appreciate your time, your efforts, your insights, and then the experience that you have shared with us. And also, thank you, viewers, for tuning in and listening. And I know this is going to help you in the long run. Um, do you have any shout outs to give before I go?
Um, Maybe to my followers, thank you for following always. And you, Danny, thanks for having me. Mr. O, thank you for growing my page. Peter Bewa, all these people have been amazing. Now I've not been able to post. I'm just hibernating a bit because stuff have to be done. But in due
Yeah.
time, I hope to show up and post more. So have a
Wow.
great weekend. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much and peace out.
Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.
I believe you're enlightened by this podcast session. Don't forget to stay connected as I'll be bringing you more episode after episode. This is a Study Abroad experience. Then a legend here.